Hey, everybody. Welcome into a late edition of Halos in the Infield post-game show. Sorry, things kind of broke out for me tonight with a little bit of people hanging out. We went to a brewery again, and I had a little few too much to drink, so got back a little late. But I'm here, and while we were watching the game, and I was watching on my phone, they had the McGregor thing going. They had stupid Dodger baseball going. But this is the Halos in the Infield post-game show. I caught up on what happened with tonight's Angel game. And the circus music is for the way the offense showed up tonight. It was a cheap thrill. It was something that you go to one of these circuses and you pay maybe a couple bucks, or you're trying to win your girlfriend or whoever a prize, and it just doesn't come through because the games are rigged. It felt like the game was rigged not by the umpires but by the hitters. They're making a guy who's supposedly okay, one of the pitchers for the Mariners, better than he really is. And Patrick Sandoval, to his credit, this was not a buttercup game. He pitched his ass off, pitched nearly 7 innings. The 2 runs he gave up were not all that bad. It's not like he was killed for those 2 runs. He did walk a couple guys, but he struck out 6. He looked pretty good. This was just a game, again, where the Mariners showed up, and I'll give Grillmaster credit because I was talking shit in one of the things and saying, hey, you know what, I think, after his last start, I keep forgetting his name for tonight, the pitcher for the Mariners, he's going to get shelled again by the Angels. He got shelled by the Yankees. Nope, Grillmaster said he's going to come out and shut us out, or he might even throw a perfect game. Well, he was right on the shutout, because he shut us down tonight. We lost 2-0, and what hurts again is what we talked about yesterday. Well, I was so upset, and why I was so frankly just pissed off, the fact that, hey, we're coming out here against a team, and why I'm wearing the Indian stuff, I can't show you, I can't turn around. Well, maybe I can, but I can show you. I'm wearing a Ricky Vaughn jersey, which is from the movie Major League. So it's not like I'm an Indians fan, but I just wore it out tonight because I have a movie prop jersey, and it's pretty cool. Ricky Vaughn, old school Indians movie there. But the reason why I was pissed off from last night is obviously the Angels, everyone in their division just gave it up to them. And also in the other wild card standings, they could have pulled within 3.5 games. 3.5 games to now 5.5 games is a huge drop-off, especially when you lose 2 games in the standings to a team that's ahead of you and a team you're supposed to be better than, and they are now asserting themselves as better than you. If you won that game last night, I bet you $1,000 right now. If you can go back in time, and if the Angels would have finished out yesterday's game instead of punking out and only scoring 3 runs and not doing shit the rest of the game, and then the Quintana mess in the 9th inning or the 8th inning, if they win that game yesterday, they had the momentum going in from the previous series with Boston. They beat Seattle last night. They win tonight. I bet you $1,000 that would have happened. But obviously, I can't bet after the fact. That'd be cheating. But the thing is, when you lose a game like you lost last night, this was to be expected from this team. And just like Fernando said a couple days ago when I was talking with him, and he was saying, man, do you think they just reeled us in back again? Why are we getting reeled back in like a bad ex-girlfriend? And then all of a sudden we're just going to get shitted on again, or her problems are just going to come back to life, and then boom, you're right back to being like, hey, why am I with this girl again? And that's how we are with the Angels sometimes. They piss you off. And again, we have this to look forward to, like, July 16th, July 17th, Trout comes back. Rendon should be back for the next series against Seattle at home. We should have Upton back after the break and all this other good stuff. But you can't limp into it. Some of us were scared they'd be too hot getting into the All-Star break. Now it looks like they're going to limp into the All-Star break. And as you got 2 games over 500, you're hoping that, hey, we can maybe go 3 or 4 games or 5 games over. Now you're just back to the drawing board again. It seems like the 10th time this year that we've gone back to the damn drawing board of 500 baseball. So as we get into it tonight, we're also going to be doing the bingo thing, so don't think I forgot about that. I know I'm a little late, so I apologize for that in advance. I got the bingo thing right here with me, so we will be dropping the balls. 2 more balls tonight. If you and also James dropped one earlier on his pregame. So let's get to some of these comments that we. I don't know if we're going to have too many because it's a late start, so I apologize. Let's see. That was the single most pathetic display of baseball I've ever seen. Grillmaster, all I could say to you is that you haven't watched much baseball or Angels baseball to say that is the most pathetic thing you've ever seen. I've seen a lot worse, brother. That's all I'm saying. Send this team to the circus. Yeah, they were a clown show tonight. Get me the toasters now. Chase says, oh, boy, we better be buying a new team at the deadline. And you know what, Chase? I'm pretty sure you saw that thing that was tweeted out, or Jeff Fletcher tweeted out about, and some of you guys had put it on the message boards about Perry Messiaen saying, I don't believe in buyers, I don't believe in sellers, but we're definitely looking to add at the deadline. So basically he's saying, yeah, we're a buyer. So we'll see how that goes. I hope we are. But again, you can't be losing these games like this. You know, this game, again, 3 hits, that's not showing up. And you had Taylor Ward just looking pathetic out there. Gosselin wasn't doing his job. I know coming into this series, he was batting about 320, 330. He's looked pathetic out there. Where is Rojas again? That's what, you guys should be saying. I should be saying. Give that dude a chance. At least he was hitting at times. He's not there. Trotter here says, I'm giving up on this team. Man, I mean, come on, man. Let's stick it out, bro. Brother, we got to stick this one out. But I know how you feel. And sometimes you do feel like giving up. James says, let the circus begin. Kiwi says, they ain't making the playoffs this year. It's over when we can't even beat the lame-ass Mariners. Go back to last year's exhibition season. Go back to 2019. Go back to 2018. Go back to 2017. Why do I say that? You can single-handedly look at why teams like the Dodgers, who have just up until this year have had no competition for 8 years and have a free golden ticket, not from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but a free golden ticket from the NL West to make the playoffs every year because their division sucks ass. But it seems like with the American League West, you always have Oakland being Oakland. You always have Houston being Houston recent years. And you have Seattle and Texas, which Houston and Oakland beat up on. Yet when the Angels come to play those teams, Joey Gallo hits like 4 homers in 2 days, or the Mariners get pitching performances from guys you can't even pronounce their names. And that's how we lose. That's how you lose a division. In division, if you own your division, you're going to win no matter what you do, Central and East. The Dodgers for the last 4 years have had terrible records against the Central. The Central kicks their ass every year. The East sometimes does the same thing. But it's the fact that you're able to play the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, 19 straight times. Up until this year, the Giants were pathetic. You played them all the time. 19, you got wins. Up until this year or the year before last, the Padres weren't doing shit. You play them 19 times. It's easy to see how you're able to just rack up wins. Not so for the Angels. They always play 500 or less against Oakland. Same thing with Houston. I mean, look at the last 30 games in Houston. The Angels have a record of 6-24. That's pathetic. And you know they don't do much better here at Anaheim Stadium. And up in Oakland, they lose a lot too. So there's no excuse for them to be losing in Texas and at home here against Seattle or up there in Seattle either. Seattle's not that good. Texas is not that good. But you lose those games to teams that you should be beating, and this is what the reality of what happens. This is why if you just look at, okay, if they're beating these teams that they should beat, not just mentioning your Arizonas and the other teams that you see randomly, I'm talking about in your division, you beat those teams. Those are wins that let's just say they win 6 out of those games that they lost. They'd be 6 games over 500. That's huge. That means likely if they're 6 games over 500 or even 4 games over 500 at this point, they're 3.5 or 2.5 out of the wild card. Instead, you're looking 5.5 out, where, again, you're back to teetering of a playoff team and non-playoff team. Because, again, we all know that division's done for. The AL West is sewed up between either Oakland or Houston. And don't put Seattle in there. Seattle's going to be fighting for the wild card just like we are. And that's what's frustrating. Let's see. Juan says, love the music, the clown stuff. Kerwin Daly belongs in the circus. Let's see. Grillmaster says, actually, he belongs in hell. Here we go. Mateo says, Todd, play this song every time we lose. I got that inspiration from you. Why the Indians hat? I'm wearing the what is it called? The Major League movie with Vaughn from Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen's jersey, Ricky Vaughn on the back. It was just something I wore out to the bar tonight. I was all Cleveland out for whatever reason. I have a ton of jerseys, not just Angel jerseys. I have a lot of other jerseys. I have Pirate stuff. Roberto Clemente. I have Expo stuff with Guerrero, Pete Rose with the Reds. Just certain cool. Like I mix it up, man. So that's all it is. It's not that I'm an Indians fan. Otani sucks. Grillmaster says that is a very hot take. Drunken Todd Juan says, I'm recovering right now, Juan. I'm recovering. Grillmaster says, speaking of, I met up with a girl I liked yesterday, and she told me we weren't going to be able to get together today. My internal single life lives on. Hey, the struggle is real, my friend. Oh, boy, this should be fun. I'll get my popcorn ready. Flexing. There he was. He was flexing. That's the guy. Flexing is a guy that's just a guy in Major League Baseball. He's average at best. And, again, these average guys just come in there and they just tear us a new butthole. That's just all there is to it. Yeah, there it is. Chase got it right. Wild thing. There is no way this team will make the playoffs. Juan says, Angels suck. Los Angeles and Los Angelinos. I wish it was different. I wish I could fight more for this team. But when you come out looking pathetic like this, the Angels, look, you need these guys back more than we thought they did. And also we need more pitching, but on a night like this, the pitching wasn't the problem. Yeah, we buttercupped it up yesterday, but I think the buttercup was more along the line of freaking just bad managing last night. Last night should have been a W, and that just wasn't. At least no buttercup nominations. Laugh Out Loud will win tomorrow, Ryan says. And you know what? The buttercup won't be played the same one. I'm gonna if a buttercup does happen tomorrow, I will play a hip-hop version or a metal version or a country version, something different from the original, because the original just bugs the shit out of me. Trotter here says it's embarrassing wearing my Angel stuff. Time to burn my merch. Rally Chris says he's always right, not here. Oof, shots fired. James says, if this was an Angel home game, I'd be asking for my money back. If they don't perform, why pay? And I wish there was a refund for that, because they played like shit tonight. Every time the Angels go over 500, we take a shit. Trouta here says, no stand-up tonight. I don't blame you. Let's see. Mateo says, Perry said he's looking to add players, not rentals at the deadline. Todd say the alphabet backwards. Listen, okay, I can walk the curb. I don't know about saying the alphabet backwards. I can't do that sober. If they tell me to say that frontwards and and then go backwards, nah, ain't gonna happen. Especially not right now. Let's see. Prayers up for Acuna. I did see that, Mateo. That was trippy. Okay, that's an instant ACL MCL tear. When your knee buckles that bad, and the only problem I had with that injury is not only did it happen, but the fact that it happened in front of those damn, what is it called? Those little Cinnamon Toast Crunch characters. And right where he fell, there was one laughing. That was just too much right there. That was too much. Grillmaster spelled it backwards. It's easier to type it, that's for sure. Jaime says, Angels bats are broke worse than Connor's ankle. Ooh, yeah, if you guys saw that tonight. Because at the brewery we were at tonight, there was literally the Dodger game taking up half the TVs for whatever reason, playing the lame-ass Diamondbacks. It was like 9-0 in the third inning, 17-1 when we were leaving. But we did see McGregor break his ankle. I couldn't believe that. I actually wanted him to win the rubber match of that too, the fight between the two dudes. So he messed up his ankle, and then they were showing Acuna's ankle or his knee too. So that was terrible. Terrible injury right there. I think that might be it for Connor, to be honest with you. He's taken a lot of losses lately, and then that freaking ankle injury. Juan says Sandoval is burning up his ass, burning up his ass there for nothing. Juan, look, last start and this one, they buttercupped him last time on his other start, and this start, he pitched his ass off. He should have won this game 10 times over. He showed a lot of heart out there. I love it. I love the fact he pitched so good in this game. It's just I don't like the results. The results sucked ass. Let's see. Jeff checks in with, are they better than last year? Jeff, they are when they're healthy, and I think they are as far as pitching too. As far as we like to jump on this team and say, I don't think this team's much better, or they have candy-ass pitching, it still is better than what they had last year. And I mean, last year, I don't know how they won as many games as they did with their pitching being so poor. It got a little better this year. Their bullpen still buttercups the shit out of games sometimes, but for the most part, they could lock down. They weren't the problem tonight. It's the offense that has been so inconsistent this year, either due to injuries or guys going up there with terrible approaches at the plate, or they're not looking to work walks. They're not doing the small things that were promised that this team was supposed to do. So, yes, I do think this team is a lot better than last year, but can they get any better results than last year? That's the big question, but you can obviously answer it differently from night to night. A couple nights ago before this Seattle series, we're thinking, yeah, they get another win. They're changing. They're turning the corner. They're doing this. They're doing that. They lose last night, buttercup that one, come back with a shitty performance tonight offensively. Then you're like, oh, I don't know if this team can make the playoffs, because that's how this team has been all year. It changes from week to week, from day to day, because they're not anywhere consistent. And the big hope, again, is if when these stars come back to the lineup, they'll actually gel and the pitching will hold up and we can get enough wins to outscore people and to make it to the wild card. That's my hope, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, because when you have too many of these wins and losses, or these games that you blow, some people say, oh, it's still early in the season, or we're still right there. These don't count. They all count. So when you get to September and October, or August and September, and you're still like 4 or 5 games back, then you look back in the rearview mirror and you're like, man, I wish we would have beat freaking Seattle. If we would have took care of Texas, we'd be right there, but we're not, because we lost stupidly, because we underperformed. And this team does underperform too much. The offense went dead, Coach Hayes says. Marsh was 2 for 5 with let's see. Chase says Marsh 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs today. He also had a home run yesterday, Chase. So he's making he's trying to get his ass up here as quickly as possible. We can't win in the division. Fuck this shithole franchise. James says, and Angels didn't bring any of their hitting bats or shoes to the game tonight. And Drizzle says, Angels offense defense loves to play like shit in series that actually matter and when pitchers actually do good. It's true. Jeff says, could the Angels pull off a trade to get Baez or Contreras from the Cubs? That's very doable, because the Cubs are looking to sell in light of their big-ass losing streak. And I do think the Cubs can be friends with the Angels as far as trade partners, obviously because of Joe Madden connection. Will it happen, and will it be the needs of the Angels to do so? I don't know. They still might be stuck on the sassy train. They still might be just wanting to stand pat in some of the position players, but I am looking for them to add a lot of pitching help in the deadline, whether it's bullpen or freaking starting. Or Bryant too, Jeff says. Bryant would be only there if Rendon was out for the rest of the year. Bryant is Trout's friend, but there's no need for a third baseman if Glass is actually healthy, a.k.a. Rendon. They should be called the Seattle Mendozas. The entire team is under or below the Mendoza line batting average. I'm right there with you, Grillmaster. 6-4 and 24, or 6-24 in Houston sounds depressing. Well, that's their record, bro, in their last 30 in Houston. And Drizzle says, and Perry actually thinks that rentals will fix his team. How about stop playing Renifo, Ward, right fielder, and bring up Adele already? Bring up Adele or Marsh, or both, because you're not going to win nothing in Salt Lake. Their record kind of stinks, but the team is overall good for some reason, because they have talent in certain positions. And right now, I mean, you're putting 2 infielders in the outfield. That's not going to work. And Taylor Ward, we've seen the best of him, which is not much. I think he's the best as a backup catcher. I think if Suzuki's not there, he'll give you Suzuki or better numbers. But other than that, I don't want him in the outfield. But that's where they're using him already. So, yeah. Let's see. Jaime says, Todd, what is your go-to beer or drink? I love me some 805 or some Modelo or Modelo Negro, or let's see. I do like some imports too. I'm not just basic. But tonight we went to a place that just had some crazy beer. They had one called Why So Serious. That was really good. They even had a candy apple, like a caramel rim with like a apple tart beer. That was interesting. It was good. Interesting. Juan says Seattle is 4 games ahead of the Angels. How can we even dream we can make the playoffs? Seattle is mediocre at best, and the Angels are even worse. And Juan, that is the feeling, that we can catch them. But when you state it like that, it is hard to argue why, because Seattle was right there for the picking, and the Angels didn't take them. Now, a lot can change in the next 4 games. We do have 4 more games with them. We have one right here before the All-Star break, and then another series to start the second half. But when we're playing against mediocre teams like Seattle and they're beating us, yes, it does give you a sense of if we're not going to make the playoffs. So they have to prove it to us. They have to prove that things are different, that things are going to change. But when you keep racking these losses up, the deeper you go into the season, they're not proving shit. They're only proving that they're still inconsistent. They still haven't found their way. They still haven't bought into an overall approach to the game, whether it's pitching, whether it's hitting, whether it's the small ball, anything. None of that has hit. None of that is that they're taking a ride on and just moving with it. They're just playing. And that's the problem because that's inconsistent as possible. Hey, Wild Thing, you walk everything, James says. That should be our freaking bullpen. Play the prices right in the losing theme. I'll probably do that next time. Juan says, I want to get drunk with Todd. We'll have to do that one day, my friend. Absolutely. Chase says, Angels folded just like McGregor's leg tonight. Ouch. Yeah, and just like his face, too. He took some shots. What a shitty sports day, too. James says LA won 22-1. Damn. So they scored 22 and we get a big fat gyro. That sucks. And Drizzle says McGregor fight reminded me of Silva versus Weidman fight. I think whose leg broke in that one? What record gets us to the wild card, you think? 90 wins or 95? Honestly think 88 gets us in. There's too many teams right now that that have the same kind of problems. I think the Angels are just like the freaking Blue Jays. The Blue Jays but at least they have Ryu or whatever his name is from Street Fighter. They have him. The Toronto just basically doesn't have too good a pitching either way. Their bullpen buttercups a lot too, but they have an amazing lineup. And sometimes it performs and sometimes it doesn't, and so their team mirrors us a big time, and they got about the same record as us too. So we got to jump teams that are just like us, and then teams at Seattle that don't have much talent. They're a year away, but somehow, some way, with no names, they're better than us. You know what I mean? So it's difficult, man. Then you got Cleveland, who has great pitching, but it's always injured. But then they have no hitting. They've been no hit 3 times. I'm surprised the Angels haven't been no hit yet. And Not Truce jumps in with, again, Daddy ToddFox. Do you have any other comments except Daddy ToddFox? Juan says DFA the whole team. Cole is doing all the emojis right now. Do you guys... hear that we released Jose Quintana. Are you sure about that? And then Big Hammer 20 says, why all the Indian stuff? It's from the movie. Look up Major Leagues, my friend, and you'll see, what's his name? I just forgot. Charlie Sheen. When he's the Wild Thing, I'm wearing the Wild Thing jersey. So it's from the 1990s or whatever. Iglesias is the second worst in the league defensive efficiency among Major League shortstops. And what do you guys think about Marcus Semien next year being a free agent? Now, I know they're going to be looking pitching. But as far as a shortstop, dude hit his 22nd homer already, and he's done that before on Oakland. So he's a really good hitter. If we don't get Iglesias back, that's one dude I'd like to spend some cash on, but that'd be only if we got pitching next year first. Trade for Kimbrel and Bryant and get Bryant into the outfield. Interesting, Chase. I didn't know he could use. He played outfield. Now see if he plays outfield, then that just moves him to right field. You got Upton in left. You got Trout in center. You got Glass at third base. You got, I was going to say Eckstein, but you have Iglesias at shortstop, and then you got at second base, you got Fletcher, and then at first base, obviously, our boy Walsh. Let's see, Bryant is in right field. Yeah, Jeff is saying the same thing. I wants to die after this game. This is the wrong time to suck. Anthony walking on broken glass. Rendon. Jaime says, I'm scared that Artie will think the problem is shortstop and spend a ton of money on someone like Seager. Oh, please not Seager. I don't want to see any Dodger trash on this team. Please, please, please. Who spends half the year on the IL, and there he goes for pitching money. Yep. Let's see. Mateo says, let's trade for our guy Matt Scherzer. Yes. If we're going to get a rental, get Max Scherzer. I'm telling you, even in a loss, he looks good. I would have no sympathy if Kerwin Danley at the home plate. No, don't say that. Let's see. Yvette says Ohtani won SB award for best MLB player. Oh, that's pretty cool. Sell Rendon, please. 310 says yes. If we could sell him, I'm convinced Ward caught Madden sleeping with Artie's wife. There's no explanation why he keeps getting playing time. I'm right there with you. I don't understand it either. Seattle doesn't have Ohtani, Walsh, Trout, Sandoval, and still are better than us. Yeah, go figure. They have a bunch of no-name nobodies, but guys that may be good in a year or two. Guys that if you fit some free agents in there, this team could be popping next year. But they're still a year behind schedule, yet they're ahead of us 4 games. Go figure. I don't understand it. Oh, Silva says that was the one that broke his leg. Mateo, we need to get Trout's feet wet and give him a taste of postseason baseball. Absolutely. That's the thing that we've been waiting for. But when you have losses like this, it doesn't seem possible. Cole Poppin says, why is Taylor Ward, Jack Mayfield, Louis Ringfo, Jose Iglesias, Jose Quintana, and Dylan Bundy just why? I don't get it. Well, they're on the team. And they were affordable. They were all cheap. And they all had, they were within Artie's budget, and that's why they're on the team. We need to beat the Seattle Mendozas. Let's see. Yvette says also play small ball, stop hitting for the fences, and fuck the umpire's bullshit call on Ohtani. It's been like that all freaking year. And the umpires have been against us. But then again, it's sort of like in football. When you lose a game at the last play of the game and the refs throwing a pass interference and you lose whatever, sometimes I have sympathy for those teams, but then sometimes I say, well, like some of the coaches used to tell us, don't put yourself in that position to lose the game. Don't let the refs have the position to dictate whether it's a win or a loss. Take care of what's in front of you, and you won't have to worry about the refs no matter what. And it's sort of like that with the baseball, too. If you're winning games, you're doing what you're supposed to be. One play here, one play there at the end of the game shouldn't affect you because you're dominating, you're doing what you have to do. Your approach is right. But the Angels' approach is never right. Thank God for Fletcher that he's okay. Exactly. 88 wins means we have to go 44-34. And that's not bad, Jaime. We can go 44-34. That's just winning most series. That's just beating your teams in your division or at least hanging with them and splitting series. But then again, that's a big if, because can we do that if we do this? And they've given us some signs that they can and a lot of signs that they can't. Bryant plays a lot better in the outfield. Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that, Chase. Jaime says here on out with all the boppers coming up, it could happen. We could go on a roll. That's true. Marcus Semien would suck here because he played for fucking Oakland. He's only good in the AL West because he played for Oakland, but he's good in Toronto. Rendon would be sent to the ER if he was in Fletch's situation for that play at second. That's true. Jaime says Seattle has a guy named Steckenelder that keeps fucking us. There's always one. In every series, I can name you one guy that from every team that where you're like, that guy kind of sucks, and then he comes through and he hits like 3 home runs, or he's like their savior for that series. It's weird. Mateo says the only guy that scares me in the Mariners lineup is Kyle Seager, who's always screwed us over. Until Artie leaves, this team is dead. Grillmaster says Juan says switch Rendon for a bag of chips, but it depends on what kind of chips you get. James says, gotta play the theme from the TV show ER the next time Upton or Rendon get hurt, which is what, next week? Mateo says, someone confirmed that we DFA'd Mayfield. Ooh, I didn't even hear about that yet. Yes, we did, but we signed him back. Okay, so that would be the second time. Kerwin Danley put himself in that situation, though. He had an agenda versus Shohei. Maybe he does. Who knows? Madden doesn't know logic until it sucks D in the dugouts. Oh, jeez. Cole Poppin says, I feel bad for Patrick Sandoval. Dude pitched his ass off, and the defense and offense did not help him for shit. He looked pissed off and was always yelling to himself on the mound. The good thing about that is, number one, Cole, he showed emotion. Unlike anything that Heaney has done in the entire career that he's been here with the Angels, I like pitchers that show emotion because that could fire up players around. Let me get to these quick bingo balls. I'm going to drop these 2 bingo balls real quick because we're already like 30 minutes in. So as you hear it right now, you hear it. There's one, and that ball is G60. G60, that's for the jersey giveaway. Obviously, if you're playing bingo, you want to pay attention. G60 is number 1, and number 2 ball that comes out is B6. So G60 and B6, those are your numbers for tonight on the show. So keep that in mind. You could win yourself a jersey and get a bingo. Let's see. Let's get back to it real quick. I swear to God, I'll wear my Blue Jays t-shirt tomorrow. Maybe that'll give us luck, Juan. Manny says, so be honest with us. Should we still have hope? Manny, I think we should. I really do. I don't think this team is out of it until a team falls between, I would say, 7 to 9 games out of the wild card. That's when you just throw up your hands and you're like, your ass. That's it. We're done. Let's bring up the young guys. Let's start next year. Let's try to get, let's start over again and try to get Trout's feet wet, just like Mateo said. And let's just try next year. We'll go all in next year. But this year's a wash. And right now, you think about it, we're 5.5 out. You're teetering on getting to that spot of 7.5 to 9.5 out. Because once you get to double digits, that's it. Unless there's a miracle. And usually the miracles go against the Angels, a la 1995, having a 12-game lead. The Angels had a 12-game lead in late August and lost it and had to fight back from 3 back on the final 3 games of the season to get into a 1-game playoff to where, yes, they shit themselves against Randy Johnson back in the day in Seattle. So, yeah, that's part of Angel history. Usually that double-digit bullshit doesn't happen to good for the Angels. It happens bad for the Angels. So yes, if they fall any farther back, I would definitely throw in the towel. The only pitcher that gets run support in this game is Shohei. Well, it's at sometimes. Jaime says, "Good news, Halo fans. If we win tomorrow, we will be undefeated until Friday. I guarantee it." That's true. Guru Master says, "If Iglesias wasn't a retard, I'm in the 7th inning. We are out of that inning unscathed, but we're still down a run." Chase says 2 away, and tomorrow is trivia day. Yes, it is, Big Hammer 20. Hopefully you're playing, because I'm pulling for you to win, bro. You've been wanting to win for a long time, and hopefully you're playing bingo as well there. Let's see. Mateo says, "I got another one off the bingo." There you go. See, you're catching up, man. Catching up. Cole says, "I just want the Angels to call up Adele, sign Max Scherzer to the rotation, and sign a couple bullpen arms. People who are good, not people who are washed up and who are cheap." Well, I think the washed up and who are cheap was all Epler bullshit and Artie. So hopefully now Perry seems to know what he's doing. Now, does he have the right to pull the trigger? Because we know Epler wanted to pull the trigger on some good players too. He just was a puppet. So we're hoping that Perry is not a puppet. He doesn't look like a puppet. So I'm hoping. That's where my hope is. For the trade deadline, yes, that's what he's talking about. It says, "We aren't going to get Trout's feet wet until Artie is fired and Madden is axed forever," Grillmaster says. "I remember staying home to watch the 1-game playoff and crying. I was like 10. Dude, Jaime, that is exactly what happened to me, but I was like, I want to say I was 15 at the time, and I ditched school to stay at home to watch the game because you remember that game was like at 12 or 1 o'clock in the day. It was a special ESPN game, and yeah, I had all the hopes. That game was 1-0. It seemed to be 1-0 for like 6 or 7 innings, and then Langston had that bad inning, and then Seattle just pounded him after that, and they couldn't get nothing off of Randy Johnson. That was so as a fan, I mean, that was the first time I had seen him in the playoffs, and that was so hard to deal with, man. Grillmaster says, "We will never win. Can we get Hamlin or Hamels? Cole Hamels, he could be out there. Jeff says, "I like Stassi. Just thought Contreras and Baez would bring fire to the team. They might do it because there is no leaders on this team. The only leader we have close to it is Alex Cobb." Will J-Up be traded this month? That's the thing. We have still weeks to go till the deadline, and if the team falls further out, Perry will change his mind. There will be no need for a rental, and I think you would start to see for sale signs on the lawn of the Angels. But if they stay close and you're able to get back 2 games or stay within 2 or 3.5 games, Upton's going to be here the rest of the year, hands down. Let's see. He is a good value. That is why we trade Jay up. We could get something for him if we're out of it. Jaime cries for everything. Hilarious. Jeez. Mateo says, "I want to see playoff baseball. Grab Norman and Norm Bar. Note Bar from the Cardinals. Their minor leaguers go off every time the Cards trade them." You know what? That's the thing. But the Cards are smart. They are really smart. That's not a team that gets screwed over. So if you're to pull a trade over them, you'd have to like screw them somehow. And they do their homework over there in St. Louis. Let's see. Hold on. Javier Baez, plate discipline is worse than Kurt Suzuki. I don't know about that. At least he has production though. Mateo says, Todd, is it okay if I'm doing bingo on the index card? It's fine, dude. As long as the numbers match the card, it's cool. Let's see. Cole says, do you want to keep Joe Madden as manager going forward? A lot for me. Like I've had this conversation a lot with some of the other people on here, and I think that the jury's still out. I got to see how he gets his team to perform in August and September. If they fall on their face, it doesn't look like they're trying. They're giving you performances like this more times than not. Then yeah, he deserves to be fired. I've wanted him to go a third year with a full rack with a off season to where they can actually sign people, sign good players, and then see what he does with it. Believe me, I want him to get there. But if he can't motivate this team to stay at least in the wild card to the end, I think it's time for Madden to go, because obviously he's made some decisions that's hurt this team. And I don't like firing managers, especially going through managers like Brad Osmus in 1 year, and this would be 2 years only for Madden. I think that kind of sucks. But, you know, maybe Perry has someone in that he wants that's better. I don't know. And if Perry doesn't like him, because remember, that's not his hire, he might have a short leash with him. We don't know his relationship with Madden. Yvette says, how can we win 3 out of the next 4 games against a great team like Boston and lose to a team like Seattle? Because we never take care of business against teams that we should, and that's the problem. Brother Man says, or no, Brother Man just joined in, at Cole Pop and Madden is going to play out his contract. He most likely will, but I'm telling you, he'd have to fall on his face. The team would have to look really embarrassing, more embarrassing than a night like this, to not make it. Does your dad think that we are going to make the playoffs? Jaime said he changes just like me. One day he's like, I could see this team getting to the postseason, everyone pulling out their rally sticks and or what are those called again? Those little thunder sticks, and then making noise, and this team getting all kinds of excited, and then we just go on a run. I know we can do it. And then when they lose like this, boy, I come home and he's like watching TV right there, and I'm like, hey, did you see the game? He's like, he didn't show up tonight. He got shut out. I don't know. After last night's Grand Slam, it's like they didn't even want to play today. And then his voice just gets higher and higher. I'm like, Dad, calm down. I'm right here. You don't need to yell. They play like garbage. So I get both sides of it. He changes like. If they win, he's happy-go-lucky. If they lose, he's pissed off and he's watching the news or watching some old show on freaking MeTV or something. Paul Molitor, Grillmaster says, let's see. Jaime says, I hope someone with the tenacity of Erstad takes over. They're naming some managers. Grillmaster says Rick Renteria, John Farrell, John Gibbons. The only problem with Renteria's never. Well, yeah, Renteria's had a job. Those are all retreads. I don't want a retread up in here. I want someone that's freaking like, gung ho. Someone new that's fiery that can be a good manager that we don't know. Not necessarily we don't know what he's capable of, but someone that's a good motivator. And I thought Madden was that. I still think he can be. What is Roger Lodge saying right now and tonight? Trout here says he's saying, "Boy, did you see how Sandoval pitched really good? And did you see these 3 hits? Can we replay those 3 hits? No, never mind. Can we just play Shohei Ohtani's home run from last night, and then we'll go to blind date replays, and I'll show you the best of blind date." That's what he'd be saying right now. Let's see. At Grillmaster, none of those guys would want to manage the Angels is good. That's true. We need Papa Fox. I'm trying to convince him, Juan. I don't know if he'll do a live, but he might just do a show where we can get him on here and I could like record something or get him on the podcast. I don't know if he'll do a live. He might be a little shy when it comes to that. Cole says, well, hope we win tomorrow and have a good day. Let's at least get one run. Have a good rest of your night and go Angels. Thanks, Cole. You do the same. Sucks Bruce Bochy retired. ToddFox from manager. Crewmaster says, I missed the lineup, Todd, or the bingo balls. I think if you missed it, I'll say it one more time. It was, let's see, it was... What does this ball say here, right here? It was B6, and the other one, it's rolling on the table, so... I got to put that on the board, though, by the way. The other one's G60. So B6 and G60. Jeff says Madden is a good manager. We could use a guy like Kip Wells as a pitching coach. We could. Yes, we need a real pitching coach. He's all, yes, Todd Lodge. Who's pitching tomorrow? That would be Suarez. Suarez is pitching tomorrow. Mike Scioscia should be our manager again. Nah, the game passed him by. Mike Butcher reunion? No, I don't want that. I want a Bud Black reunion. Bud Black was an awesome pitching coach here. Best Indians player of all time, Jim Thome. Yeah, he was solid. Hall of Famer. I think over 500 homers. Mark Langston should be the coach. I do like Mark Langston. He knows his shit. Jeff says we need a new hitting coach as well. We have 3 of them, guys and girls. We have 3 hitting coaches, and they all suck. Paul Sorrento, Jeremy Reed, and some other assistant manager. I don't even know his name, or assistant hitting coach. And if you have multiple hitting coaches, you don't have one hitting coach. That has been the problem. Gooby for pitching coach. Imagine, dude, that guy is, and someone said it the other day, the Tony Romo of baseball. He's really good. Trotter here says, do you have a Roy Hobbs jersey? No, I don't. I have a few other Hall of Famers. I have an Ozzie Smith. Let's see, I have a George Brett. What's the other jersey? I'm like some, you know how some of you guys are into hats and whatnot? I'm into jerseys, and especially with my jersey hookup guy, like that is my guilty pleasure, man. I'm able to get a lot of these jerseys. So yeah, I freaking love jerseys. And Salmon for hitting coach. Rally Chris for hitting coach. He's had a couple of those. John Millay, he is another hitting coach. Oh, the other guy. Yeah, see, there's too many of them. There's too many of them. And I think they're probably giving different information to different players. You don't need that many. For every time I see Paul Sorrento in there, he's got his hands over his fat ass belly and just and rocking back and forth. Jeremy Reed is at least animated with some of the players. He high fives some of the guys. And it looks like sometimes he's overlooking, or not overlooking, sometimes he's looking at the iPads with Ohtani and his interpreter, but I don't see him hands-on with much other players. I don't know who's responsible for helping Upton change his mentality and his stance, but whoever's doing that's doing a good job. I just don't think they have that one dude that can lead the club. You need one guy out there. What's your jersey guy? What's his site? I can't give that away only for the fact that he's kind of okay. He's kind of legal and he's kind of illegal. So he's running it from a company. So it's not his company. He's able to get jersey and David Fletcher's translator. There you go. Nick says Roy Hobbs from the movie The Natural. Let's see. When whatever happened to Eric Hinsky beats the hell out of me. Let's see. Jared Weaver for pitching coach. And then this team can give you gray hairs. Muhammad is checking in. He says on Facebook, this team can give you gray hairs. I lost my hair with this team. They are focusing too much on analytics and mixing it the F up. They sure are. Todd says Alex Curry smash or pass. Dude, you don't even have to ask me that. Come on now. Smash respectfully, Nick says. Exactly. Jay Bell, who manages to be good. Jay Bell, the same one from the Pirates, and then we'll figure things out, and I'll have an internet working good again. I don't know why it's freezing right now. But you guys and gals have a good rest of your night. Another frustrating loss for the Angels. Let's clean it up, and let's win tomorrow, and at least get one out of this finale, and then hope that the second half starts off better and we're able to get back in this wild card race, which we're still technically there at 5.5. But I'd feel a lot more comfortable being only 2 or 3 out at the most. I really will.